He's gotten famous on social media. And now it's like people popping up in the comment section of my videos asking about Mujahid. Almost done. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillahi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in wa ba'd. Yo. ليش اشتريت لك كتاب man? Where's your Adab al-Mufrad? Man, you ain't gonna bring it, give it to someone else hold it. No, not give it to you. Oh, yeah. You're not gonna use it, well, you can bring the book. I gotta tell you, he's tired to do that pizza. Pizza made him brain dead.
No, we should have went to pizza. No, I don't want pizza.
Alright, so Bab Birri man kana yasiluhu abuhu. So we kind of briefly talked about this yesterday, but now we're going to deal with the Hadith specifically about this issue. Alright, so it's a chapter about what? Showing righteousness to the person that the father used to be connected to. So this could be his friend, it could be a close relative that he was close to, anybody like this. Anybody that he was really close to the father. Alright, so this is, and we dealt with this kind of briefly, like I said, in the last chapter about after their death, right? But now we're dealing specifically with the father. As you notice how Bukhari, when he started off the book, he started off with the parents, righteousness and then he spoke specifically about the mother, then he spoke about the rights of the mother, then he spoke specifically about the rights of the father. So now you see that he spoke about showing righteousness to both of the parents after their death. Now he's going to speak specifically about the father. Okay? So Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. قال الإمام البخاري رحمه الله تعالى حدثنا عبد الله بن صالح. عبد الله بن صالح هو كاتب الليث وهو ضعيف يعني فيه ضعف. His hadith is weak. And he is the reason why this narration becomes weak. What did Shaykh al-Albani say? ضعيف. He said ضعيف.
ضعيف.
About what did he say?
كاف البر والصلة حاء 11 إلى 13.
What did he say?
هذا خطأ فاحش فإن مسلما وإن روى القصة بإسناد آخر صحيح فليس فيه قوله احفظ ود إلى.
Yeah, this whole last part of the hadith, we're going to see this. This is like in the terminology of the ulama of hadith, they say like هذا غير محفوظ. Mahfuz, that means that this is not the correct narration, it's been narrated authentically. The authentic narration is going to be the one after this, 41. So this one is da'if. This is غير محفوظ. The chain of narration that's in Sahih Muslim, the hadith that's in Sahih Muslim, is the one after it, which is the mahfuz, which is the authentic one. So this hadith is not, it's da'if.
Is it da'if because of Abdullah? Who?
Yeah, Abdullah ibn Salih. The first, the Shaykh of Bukhari. And so Bukhari, he narrated some hadith mu'allaqa. Now the ta'liq al-Bukhari is what? What does that mean?
It's connected. No, connect. Wait. I know how to.
You want me to say it again? Second hand. Dark smoke.
Kava.
The ta'liq al-Bukhari, it is that he narrates the hadith. Sometimes he narrates it without the chain of narration, sometimes he narrates it with some of the chain of narration. But the point is that the ta'liq, he does not have it doesn't fall under his book, Sahih. So it doesn't have the conditions of being Sahih. These are like what you call, Rawah al-Bukhari mu'allaqa. Alright, so this is not a part of the actual, it does not follow the conditions of the other hadith. So sometimes in the Sahih you will see Bukhari narrate a narration that is mu'allaq from the ta'liq of Bukhari, and he'll say, call a layth. Alright, if he says layth, alright, now obviously Bukhari did not take the narration directly from layth. Who took the hadith from layth? Abdullah ibn Salih, the guy that right here, his shaykh. But because Abdullah ibn Salih is not sahih, he's not authentic. But like I said, so he'll skip him and narrate from layth. This is the ta'liq, and the ta'liq, like I said, sometimes he'll give some of the, sometimes he won't give any of the chain of narration, he'll just give the sahabi. Sometimes he'll just give the statement of the Prophet ﷺ. But this is you say he narrated it mu'allaqa, and so it doesn't have the conditions of the Sahih.
What makes what makes Abdullah ibn Salih ضعيف?
I need a Tahdib wa Tahdib. And I don't have it, so I didn't have time to download all the volumes of it. So I'll double check it, inshallah. But he's definitely right, no doubt. And that's why Shaykh al-Albani even, made the hadith right. Because the last part, you're going to see it, inshallah. So حدثنا Abdullah ibn Salih, and he's Katib al-Layth. This is like what they call him, Katib al-Layth. قال حدثني al-Layth. And al-Layth here is al-Layth ibn Sa'd ibn Abdul Rahman al-Fahmi al-Misri. Now he's called al-Misri, but his asl is not from Misr. His asl, he's actually Persian. Persian, but he lived in Misr for long enough, so he's considered from the Misriyin. So al-Layth ibn Sa'd ibn Abdul Rahman al-Fahmi al-Misri. Alright, and Khalid ibn Yazid and Abdullah ibn Dinar and Ibn Umar radiallahu anhuma. So all of the chain of narration is thiqat. Like all of them are, all the chain of narration, all the narrators in the chain are all strong, except for who? Abdullah ibn Salih. Oh, you ready for trivia time? You ready for trivia time?
Trivia?
Yeah, trivia time.
So I got a question.
Since we're talking about the chain of narration, I got some trivia for you.
Imam Bukhari heard it from Abdullah ibn Salih?
Yeah, that's the shaykh.
That's Al-Bukhari Shaykh. Imam Bukhari Shaykh.
And he's weak.
And he's weak?
And he's weak. He didn't narrate from Abdullah ibn Salih in the Sahih. And the Adab al-Mufrad, he didn't have the conditions of it being authentic. So here you got authentic hadiths and hadiths that are not authentic. But in the Sahih Bukhari, actual Sahih, no, he didn't narrate from him. You ready for trivia? Huh? This ain't trivia, because trivia is something that's trivial. And this is not trivial. This is a question. This is a knowledge-based question, so this is not trivia. Alright, who was at the khutbah today?
Me.
1, 2, 3.
All of us.
You brought those American shoes at the khutbah today? Okay. Alright, everybody was here, right? Everybody's at the khutbah, right? So now, bismillah. We're talking about the chain of narration. I mentioned something from who that was in regards to the chain of narration in the khutbah today.
Abu Hurairah? You mentioned Abu Hurairah, I don't know that.
No, those are the last two hadiths in the khutbah. It's not permissible. I would tell you, get that Jeopardy theme song. You know, while they're sitting there thinking and you have the Jeopardy thing going, but it's not.
Remember when he said Abu Hurairah, right?
That's not Abu Hurairah. It's the end of the first khutbah. When I talked about the ayah, فَلْيَحْذِرِ الَّذِينَ يُخَالِفُونَ Imam Ahmed. So what did he say?
Oh, what? Oh, shit.
I said, we're talking about the chain of narration.
For this one, I don't know.
No, I'm not talking about the chain. I'm saying, he said, عَجِبْتُ مِنْ قَوْمٍ عَرَفُوا الْإِسْنَادِ وَصِحَّتَهُ يذهبون إلى إيش؟ قول سفيان. And I said Sufyan. I was letting the people know it's Sufyan al-Thawri. And what did he mean by this statement? Who? Because why did he mention Sufyan here?
People choose Sufyan over.
Couldn't really explain this in the khutbah, so
How do you explain it?
No, but I really couldn't go into detail about why he mentioned Sufyan. I just said that he's talking about Sufyan al-Thawri, and I explained what he meant, but I didn't explain why he chose Sufyan al-Thawri. So عجبت من قوم عرفوا الإسناد يذهبون إلى رأي سفيان والله يقول. Then he mentioned the ayah فليحذر الذين يخالفون عن أمره أن تصيبهم فتنة أو يصيبهم عذاب عليم. Then he said أتدري ما الفتنة? He said الفتنة والشرك, and then the rest of the statement. So why did he mention Sufyan al-Thawri here? Out of all of the people that came before from the Tabi'in and the Atba' Tabi'in, he specifically mentioned Sufyan al-Thawri. Because at the time of Imam Malik, Imam Ahmed, what was the madhab that a lot of the people started to follow? Because there was no Maliki madhab. The Maliki madhab came after Imam Malik. The Hanbali madhab came after Imam Ahmed. Nobody was following the Hanbali madhab in the days of Imam Ahmed. So I want you to memorize this statement. Go on, you memorize this. MashaAllah. All right, because this is a very, very important statement. So, and even in the days of, like you see, he didn't mention يذهبون إلى رأي أبي حنيفة or رأي الشافعي or رأي Malik. He said Sufyan. Why? That was the madhab that the people were following at the time. So the strongest madhab at that time that the people started to follow, and it was only for a short period of time, was the madhab of Sufyan al-Thawri. That was what kind of got the people started on these madhab. So all the ijtihadat, people were taking the ijtihad of Sufyan al-Thawri and leaving off what? Leaving off the hadith. So if Sufyan made an ijtihad, maybe because Sufyan al-Thawri is insane, he's an insane. Akhi, I don't care how many hadith that you read or memorize, it's something that you can miss, something that just Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala causes you not to forget it, or not have it, or just to not see it, or not have it. So not every single ijtihad of a person is going to be on target. If your ijtihad that from the ulama is right most of the time, he goes back to the Quran and the Sunnah and you can check it, and he makes a mistake here and there, alhamdulillah. The problem is when his ijtihad is wrong or goes against the Quran and the Sunnah most of the time. That's now where you gotta, but everybody's gonna make mistakes, right? But this was the method that the people started to follow at that time, and they were really taking hold of it. So he said, "Ajibtu min qawmin." So he said, "I'm amazed at the people." Araful isnad. They know the chain of narration, wasihatuhu, and the authenticity of it. They know if the chain of narration is authentic or not authentic, so they know what ahadith that they can take and what ahadith they leave based on the chain of narration. But then, even though they know this, and then they can take the ahkam, once they know that the hadith is authentic, what can they do? Because the thing is we don't go to the opinions of the imams as our go-to, like, what did he say about this? What did he say about this? No, first we go to the hadith, and we look at it, and then we go to find the understanding of the hadith, but these individuals were going directly to what? Yeah, just like what you see today. I mean, and this happens even among students all over. This is common. And, when we're in the marriage, Sheikh Yahya call a Sheikh Yahya call. Okay, but Sheikh Yahya, he got it from who? Sheikh Muqbil call a yeah, but he got it from who? Keep going back, and then in the end, it has to be connected to what? It has to be connected to adillah. It has to be connected to evidence. We just can't take a statement of alim, at face value, and that's it. It's got to be connected to evidence. Otherwise, we're blind following. So this is what he was talking about. So here you have Imam Ahmed, who, mashallah, if you look in Sardiya, which his madhab actually really started in Sham. It didn't start in Saudi Arabia. Because Imam Ahmed is not, he's from where?
He's from Yemen, right? No, not Yemen. He's
Sheikh Bani, and the Sheikh Bani family's husband from Yemen, from Taz, but that's not where he's from.
No, he's Arab.
He's from Iraq.
Yeah, Iraq. Wallahi, I was about to just say Iraq. I just remembered.
All right. So, the point is, like, here he is, right? And this is where he was. Now, everybody you see in Sardiya now, Sardiya, the Khalij, they follow the Hanbali madhab, they follow his madhab. But listen to what he said. What did he say? This is their Imam speaking. This is the person who they follow his opinions, right? And he said that I'm amazed that the people that know the chain of narration and know the authenticity, they can see if it's authentic or not, that they go to the opinions of Sufyan. Now, obviously, we're going to take opinions of an Imam, Sufyan al-Thawri, definitely an Imam, but he said, I'm amazed at this. Why? Because they're leaving off the Quran and the Sunnah, and they just take, Sufyan said this, Sufyan said that, Sufyan said this, Sufyan said this, Sufyan said it's haram, Sufyan said it's haram. You see? So he was already, what does that show you? Does that show you that Imam Ahmed, that he was for the madhab or against them? But not against the madhab as it is, but against that type of behavior with the madhab, of where the people take the madhab and that's all they do is just quote that one imam, and that's it. They only take the opinions of that one imam, that one madhab, and they khalas, shut off any other possibilities of any other adillah. And then what they, so you see like nowadays when people study fiqh, they don't study like this. They don't go through the chains of narrations and the hadith. What do? They study now books like al-Umdah al-Fiqh ibn Qudama, study like, Zad al-Mustaqna. And these are just books that have absolutely no adillah, no evidence. They're just masail. And then it's based on the adillah, and then you have to study with a shaykh that will put the adillah back in it. But I mean, you find very, 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 very rarely you'll find any adillah in those books. And even on a lot of the explanations, like one of the books that they used to study, and I was studying it, and it's just like, what was it, Akhsar al-Mukhtasarat. And I think twice I tried to sit down and study that book. I started using it as a coffee holder. One day a brother came to my house, and the book was there, and I had the coffee on the book. And he was like, "Why do you have the coffee on the book?" I said, "Don't worry, there's no ayat, there's no hadith in that book, so I use it as a coffee holder." Because it's just, and this sheikh said this, and that sheikh said this, and there's an explanation of Akhsar al-Mukhtasarat. So I said, "Don't worry about it. It's a coffee holder now. It's just a big coffee holder. I just put my coffee on it so I don't stain the couch." This is what the people study now. But you see, this was the statement of Imam Ahmed in regards to people that know chains of narration, know the hadith, that they would take on this type of behavior. So we go back first to the hadith, we go back to the Quran, we go back to the Sunnah, we read the hadith, you get an understanding of the hadith, and then you go back and then you look and see what the Imam said as far as the understanding, and get the understanding from them for the hadith, but not just to take their ijtihad without going back to the evidence. The evidence is the most important thing. Because that's what we're following, the Quran and the Sunnah. And anything that does not bring you closer to that, you leave it. Anything that doesn't, if the madhab that you're following, it brings you closer to the understanding of the Quran and the Sunnah, alhamdulillah, ni'mah. Or maybe it's not the madhab itself, but it's how the person who you're studying with teaches it. Like for example, Shaykh al-Thawri, rahimahullah, and how he taught Zad al-Mustaqna. I hate that book with a passion. But I loved it when Shaykh al-Thawri taught it. The way he taught it was beautiful, but he could do that. And he taught it, and it's I think like 380 something lessons, but it's a beautiful explanation. And they printed it. They took the whole explanation and they printed it in what they call a mumtaz.
So did they leave out the ability because it would make it so much more?
And they wanted to make it easy for the people to memorize. But so I used to get in this argument with brothers in Saudi all the time. The brothers, if y'all watching, y'all gonna know exactly what I'm talking about. We sit in the car, we memorize Zad al-Mustaqna because, we get the Masal, and I was like, okay, but you can't memorize Bulugh al-Maram? Don't you get the same thing from Bulugh al-Maram? Where did these Masail come from? Where did these issues come from if they didn't come from the Quran and the Sunnah? Where did they come from? Did he just make them up from his head? If he made them up from his head, I don't want them. If they came from the Hadith, then I want the Hadith. I don't want the speech of this guy. I don't want to memorize his speech. That's a waste of time. I'm going to spend 2 years memorizing Zad al-Mustaqna, which is a wallahi. This is Bulugh al-Maram. You see the size of that? Zad al-Mustaqna is the same size. Almost the same exact size. But it's all just speech of a person. This is all hadith. It's all a hadith. Why would I want to memorize that? Leave this and memorize that? Makes absolutely no sense. You study it. If you have a sheikh like Sheikh al-Uthaymin is teaching it, not somebody that's going to teach you like the blind following of the method, but somebody that's going to do tarajih. He's going to look at the masala and he's going to give you the strongest opinion, and he's going to break it down from the hadith, and he's going to, he's going to connect you back to the sunnah, to where these issues came from in the first place. And if it's issues that came out of the Quran, like, things like, in Mirath, or things in Zawad, marriage or divorce and things like that, you got Surah al-Baqarah, Surah al-Tahrim, Surah al-Talaq, these types of issues, then, alhamdulillah, that's what you want. That's beneficial, but that's because of that person, the way he's teaching it. It's not the book itself, I tried it over and over, even when I came back to America. One of the first books that I ordered was al-Umdah from Ibn Qudama. I said, look, I'm going to try it because it's easy, It's easy to memorize it, and it will remind me of the hadith that I memorized before. Man, I sat down and read it one time. I was like, man, I'm never picking this book up again. Because there were so many things, and I'm like, nope, that's not right, that's not right, that's Mukhalif. You see, so it's, you want this If you're going to spend time memorizing something, Bulugh al-Maram. If you have a very strong memory, memorize al-Muntaqa. Al-Muntaqa is like 5,000 hadith. You know, by the grandfather Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah. But now you waste your time memorizing this stuff and like, no. But you see, that's the speech of Imam Ahmed. So now if you ever get in an argument about people with these madhahib, there's Imam Ahmed's opinion about people that blind follow these madhahib, you know. So, and what was the last part of the narration from? He said, Atadri mal fitna. What did he say after that?
الفتنة بالشرك.
لعله
عنور مين؟
لعله أن يترك بعد قوله أن يقع في قلبه شيء من الزيغ فيحلك. Alright, so he said if he leaves off the statement, if he leaves off following the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that that corruption will come into his heart, that zayg, which causes his heart to just go off the sirat al-mustaqim, and that will go into his heart, and then he's destroyed. He's destroyed because he put the speech of another person over the speech of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And we don't do that.
Then Imam Malik also say that the person don't take from him, don't quote from him if they don't know the source that he's quoting from. Did Imam Malik say that also?
Well, if you go to the beginning of Sifat Salat al-Nabi, the Shaykh al-Albani rahimahullah, he brought all of the statements of the four Imams about don't follow me. It's right at the beginning of the book. So anybody can go back. He brought the statements of Abu Hanifa, brought the statements of Imam Malik, Imam Shafi'i, Imam Ahmed, all of them. So anybody that wants to go back, they can go back to the introduction of that book and you can see it, inshallah. Alright, so after the chain of narration, so عن ابن عمر رضي الله عنهما مر أعرابي في سفر. So a Arabi is a nomad, a Bedouin, and he passed by while they were traveling. وكان أبو الأعرابي صديقا لعمر, and the father of this Bedouin was a friend of Umar. Now, of course, this is after Umar's death. This is after Umar's death, and what happened to Umar? Don't you see?
Curse someone. I was about to send la'na upon someone.
He was gutted while he was making salah.
Alright. And who killed him?
It wasn't a Muslim.
It was a slave of somebody.
What's his name? Abu Man. Abu Lulu. Al-Majusi. Abu Lulu. Al-Majusi, yeah. He stabbed him, and he just went down the road and he was stabbing anybody that he could stab.
So he stabbed a few people.
Yeah, it wasn't just Omar. He stabbed a few people.
But he had a particular grudge.
Because he's trying to get out, and anybody that was trying to come near him, he was stabbing him. But yeah, he was the Kafir. He wasn't a Muslim.
He jumped out and cut Omar this way so the intestines could come out. When he was trying to leave, he was stabbing everybody, trying to get back down the line.
Yeah, you got down there, so there you go. Yep, Daniel's cousins. That's an inside joke. It's a dude on social media, he's from Iran. So we're running his mouth on social. So anytime like that, it's from the Persians, so that's his cousins, So he said, okay, so this guy was a friend of Umar, radiallahu anhu. فَقَالَ لِلْأَعْرَابِ, so he said to the Bedouin, Alasta ibn Fulan, are you not the son of Fulan, the son of this person? Because it was his father, they were friends. Not this guy, but the father of this guy was a friend of his father. قال بلى, he said, of course, yes. فأمر له ابن عمر بحمار كان يستعقب. So then Ibn Umar, there was a donkey that was walking behind them. It was, they were traveling and they had a donkey behind them. He said, he took that donkey and gave it to the Bedouin. He said, here, take this. Alright, and he took off his imama, his turban, and rasihi fa'atahu, and he gave him that too. So he gave him the donkey and the turban. فَقَالَ بَعْضُ مَنْ كَانَ مَعَهُ, and some of the people that were with him said, أَمَّا يَكْفِهِ دِرْحَمَانِ, you could have just given him like 2 dirhams. You give him the donkey and the turban for, that's too much. He's just a Bedouin. You could have just given him something small. فَقَالَ النَّبِيُّ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمْ احْفَظْ وُدَّ أَبِيكَ. لا تقطعه فيطفئ الله نورك. So he said, protect like that connection with the person that your father loved. So this guy was a close friend of his father. So he said, this is what he said. He said, you protect that connection. So he gave it to the Bedouin based on that connection between his father and him. And he said, لا تقطعه. And he said, don't cut it off. فيطفئ الله نورك. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will extinguish the light that's within you, the light within you, the glow. He said, nah. They were asking about that on social media. They were like, what is he talking about at this point? Because we were talking about the light, and I said, man, that's the glow. You remember the glow from the 1980s?
Soul glow.
No, not the soul glow. When you got that glow. Oh, no, he didn't, no. I can't say too much.
Curl glow?
No. You're talking about something different. If I talk too much, they're going to get all over Google and start searching for it. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to avoid that happening. So I'm trying to give out as little information. But this hadith is not authentic, all right? Because of this last part, this is not from the narration. What we're going to see now is the actual narration, which is authentic. So hadith number 41, حدثنا عبد الله بن يزيد قال حدثنا حيوة قال حدثني أبو عثمان الوليد بن أبي الوليد عن عبد الله بن دينار عن ابن عمر رضي الله عنهما أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إن أبر البر أن يصل رجل أهل ود أبيه. All right. So he said, this also narrated by Ibn Umar, that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, from the most righteous of the righteous behavior that showed to the parents, this is of course after their death, and tasila rajul, and yasila rajul, sorry, to connect that the man, he maintains connections with the person that his father had love for, that he was close to. The person, so his father's closest friend or his closest companion, that he continues to keep connections with that person and show righteousness to that person. He said that this is from in the abar al-bir. All right, so this is from the most righteous of the righteous behavior. Of course, after their death, because before their death, what?
You're upon your father, your parent.
Yeah, that behavior is for your actual parents. But after their death, he has to continue showing that, so that way you continue getting the reward for the righteousness to the parents. Any questions about that?
Can you explain Wudda bihi again?
Wudda means love.
Love.
Love for his father, the one that his father had love for.
Okay. Oh, okay, I got this.
And Wudda is mawadda, love.
Are questions available or not?
Yes. But if they ask too many, we're not going to get to that, to the issue.
Someone said, what does Ustad think about letting small children use the parents' phone, and watch whatever they want on YouTube? Question.
Watch whatever they want.
That's a question.
What do you think I'm going to say about that?
SpongeBob.
Huh?
SpongeBob.
No, don't do it. Of course not.
Okay. Wait, there's still one more.
I will still, from time to time, every single one of my children, their phones, every one of them, I have their passwords. And from time to time, I will still pick up their phones and go through their history. It's your responsibility. Nobody will tell me not to do that stuff. They're your kids.
Salih Fawzan said it's permissible.
Huh?
Salih Fawzan said it's
look,
permissible.
I bought you the phone, and you're using the internet connection that I'm paying for every month, and a house that I'm paying for every month, with eating food that I'm paying for every month, and I don't, khalas. He's gonna tell me I can't look at the phone, I can't look at this.
Yeah, there's a number of questions now. But the one who's before that, it says touching the private part break.
Explain that a little more wrong.
And Afwan Ustad, my question is still related to my previous one about inheritance, so I can be firm. Okay.
Because the hadith anyway, the hadith, it's in Bulugh al-Maram at the beginning of Kitab al-Tahara. He said, "Man massa dhakara falyatawadda." He said, whoever touches, but this is only for the male, not for the female. So the ulama, some of the ulama will say, well, no, he mentioned the male because of what? Al-aghlab. No, because in the hadith he said, "Man massa dhakara." The females don't have that. Females don't have that private part. Only males do. So he didn't mention anything about the females. So the understanding is that the females, if they, you know what I'm saying, they don't have to make wudu. But the man, if he touches his private parts, then he has to make wudu. But not the females. Allah knows best.
I was listening to one of the fatawa, like of Ibn Uthaymeen. He was explaining about it. He mentioned like there was another hadith where it was like asking about the.
No, but the hadith is weak. It's weaker than this one. So it's the hadith of Busra. And this was the hadith of Bukhari, and if I'm not mistaken, Imam Ahmad said this is the most authentic narration in this issue. And you can check it in the Quran. It's right at the beginning of Kitab al-Tahara.
This question, if the daughter is single...
What you're talking about, Shaykh al-Amin was talking about, إِنَّمَا هِيَ بَضْعَةٌ مِنْكَ, that it's just a part of you. But he said, he asked the Prophet ﷺ, but it's not. He said a person touches his male private part when he's praying.
How do you touch?
Well, that's what I'm saying. So it's not clear if he touched it from like maybe he went down with his hands real fast and hit it, but it's from on top of the garment. I don't see how he's going to stick his hand in the garment and touch his private parts unless he's itching really bad or something. I don't know. Maybe he's got who knows? They live out in the desert. Maybe bed bugs or something got all up in his pants or whatever. Who knows? This is possible. It happens. So maybe So maybe he was scratching or something like that and stick his hand in his pants. I don't know. But that's the whole point. The hadith itself is not clear. Now Ali ibn Madini, he said that this is the strongest hadith, but no, the other ulama, they disagree with him on that. So the stronger hadith is man massa dhakaruhu falyatawadda. Whoever touches his private parts, then he should. Well, that's for the man, like I said. 'Cause the women, they don't have that. I don't care what these idiots nowadays say. Women don't have that. She can identify with whatever she wants to identify.
If the daughter is single and in need of money for her basic needs, to buy some means for seeking knowledge, and possibly to build a tiny house so she can live separately from her brothers-in-law. Question: can she accept money from selling the property of her deceased non-Muslim father for these reasons? Can it be considered darura, or is it strictly impermissible unless there is wasiyah?
You can't sell anything that's not your possession. That's it's not your property. You're not allowed to sell it. That's not allowed for you to sell it, and that's not a darura. That's not a darura. I mean, you can still be patient, and get money from halal means, and build up your library little by little, and continue seeking knowledge. But you can't sell property that doesn't belong to you.
Question is, are Thomas the Tank Engine Train toys allowed to buy?
Yeah, I don't know none of this stuff, man.
It's basically the Thomas, Thomas the Train, is that train that has a face. It's a haram. It's a statue with a face on it.
It's got a face on it, right?
Yeah, it's face, nose, eyes, mouth, all that. It's haram.
Children's cartoon.
It's really cool. And a lot of those cartoons I see right now, things you see and things you don't see. I'm not, because I don't know what these cartoons are that these kids watch now. I'm just talking about what started coming out in the late 90s until now. Most of those cartoons are probably one of the main responsibilities of turning most of these kids gay. So I wouldn't allow your kids to be watching this stuff, man. They started with Barney. Remember Barney? Because back in the days when they made Barney, what was the official? That was before those jokers took the rainbow flag. So what did they have originally? The original color was what? Purple. That was in the 90s, in the 80s and 90s, they took the color purple, right? And then they came out with Barney. Hi kids, I'm Barney, child molester, Barney. So it's just getting your kids accustomed to this type of behavior. Nah, keep your kids away from that stuff, man.
If you make ghusl, do you have to make wudu then, because if you take a normal bath, then you would touch it? That's the question.
Yeah, you make wudu after you do that. It's a part of wudu. It's a part of the ghusl anyway.
Okay. Seriously, where's Majad? Seriously, when will you show your face, Majad? Okay.
What do you want to see my kid's face for?
That's the question. Not, it's not from me.
My kids ain't jumping up on camera. Come on,
Okay. If someone takes someone's life, the person who was killed, can he put all of his sins on his killer? Question. If someone takes someone's life, the person who was killed, can he put all of his sins on his killer?
He put all of his sins on his killer.
That's the question. I don't know.
He's not to put anything on nobody. That's not his duty. You know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the judge, not him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he's going to take the loan from that person. So that person is going to take from it any oppression that anybody does to another person. That person is going to pay, because there's no money. There's no dirham without dinar. No dinars and no dirham. There's no money on the day of judgment. Your business transaction is with your good deeds. So any oppression that you do to anybody, you're going to pay with your good deeds. If you run out of good deeds, then you're going to start taking their bad deeds. And that's that, you know. But that's Allah is going to do that. It's not for that person to go say, I'm going to throw everything. No, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will do that. He's going to weigh that. He's the one that's going to judge between the people. And that's the very first thing. So the first thing that the person as an individual is going to be asked about on the day of judgment is what?
His salah.
His salah. But the first thing that the people are going to be asked about as far as their dealings with each other is what?
Deen? No, not deen.
Dima, blood. All right, any blood that was shed between the people. So the first thing that you're going to be asked about as an individual, you're going to be muhasib. You're going to be not asked about, but the first thing that's going to be taken account of is salah. And then all the other actions after that. And then, but the first thing that you're going to be taken account of for as far as your dealings with the people is for what? For the blood. So, and what did the Prophet ﷺ say about that? He said, مَا زَالَ رَجُلٌ. This is a hadith of Sunan Abi Dawud. It's a hadith, I think it's in one of the Sahihain, but I think it's the extra narration that I'm going to narrate is in Sunan Abi Dawud. So he said, I know this part is in Sunan Abi Dawud for real, but the original hadith, without the last part, I think it is in the Sahihain. I'll be checking inshallah. He said, مَا زَالَ رَجُلٌ فِي فُسْحَةٍ مِّن دِينِهِ مَا أَصَابَ دَمٍ حَرَامٍ.
Oh.
He said that a person is still what? فِي الْفُسْحَةِ يعني فِي فُسْحَةٍ فِي دِينِهِ. That he has vastness and openness and his chest is open in the deen. Like he accepts it and he's accepting of the deen as long as he does not what? Spill blood, like unlawful blood. And this is for a Muslim, whether that blood was unlawful as a Muslim, like he killed another Muslim or he killed a kafir. It didn't say it said unlawful. So, and he said, but this is the hadith that's, okay, now the part that's in Sunan Abi Dawud, he said, فَإِنَّ صَابَ دَمٍ حَرَامٍ بَلَّحْ. And then what does that mean? That if he spills unlawful blood, ballah, it means that his religion will start to decrease until there's nothing left. You know, and that hadith is authentic, but that's the extra part of that is in Sunan Abi Dawud, but it is authentic. It is, if I'm not mistaken, it's in the book of Sheikh Mufrad, Sahih Muslim. Wallahu a'lam.
This one, but thank you for the brother who reads my questions. May Allah bless you with goodness. That's what I wanted to add.
He just wanted to read something about
can you call someone who is like a second mother to you, mom? And would you say it's forbidden if you do so?
That's not from the Arabs. Like you see from the Arabs they call her auntie. You see this a lot in the culture, even the old culture in America. So no, you can't call her mother. Your mother's your mother, your father's your father.
If there's an older woman.
كنت تحت شخص كان يصرخ على شخص
يصرخ.
You said there's
هناك.
Oh, outside of the masjid? Oh,
ممكن كان
no, you said there's like a guy yelling.
Because we say all the way downstairs and we can't protect him. We said go to
You know what today was, right? Today
Friday.
was Friday.
Was.
I said, you know what today
My brother's
was?
name is
Friday, so what do you expect to see tonight?
Today? No, that would be yesterday.
Yesterday.
I'm speaking in the language of the people. What's it? Any other questions?
No.
Just to clarify on this question, just in case there's no misconceptions, is it permissible to call, like, even though she's not mahram, but she's very, very, like, she's like maybe 60 or 70, can we call her like amma, like auntie, out of respect, or is it haram?
No, the respect.
Like,
If she's older to the point where there's no khalas, I mean, even if she's old to the point of, you know, like nobody's even thinking about marrying her. And the Prophet ﷺ used to take the hand of the ajawis in Medina, so it's at that point, khalas, it's not, you know, you call her like auntie out of respect, just like people call her uncle out of respect. You know.
jaiz.
Yeah.
Okay.
But to call her mother, no, I want to say your homie.
Can we get to okay? Well, okay. Now this is definitely a setup. This is like, I think if there's anyone to kick out, it should be this one.
What's the question?
Is it halal to fantasize about genocide? If there's anyone we should kick out, it should be him. Can I kick him out?
Huh? You know what it is? It's another couple.
أنا بخرجك. No, look. Do you know what genocide is? It's mass killing. Do I have your permission to kick him out?
Go ask the people in that country that you probably farm. Because they're the ones who fantasize about that all the time. Not the Muslims don't fantasize about that
No,
stuff.
there is still one.
All right, man. قال الحافظ ابن حجر رحمه الله تعالى حديث number 996 عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا ينكح الزاني المجلود إلا مثله رواه أحمد وأبو داود ورجاله ثقات. Now the hadith is Hasan. It is Hasan. So رجاله ثقات, no, because that would mean the hadith is what? Sahih. So now we have a lot of issues here. So first off, the hadith what? Hasan. Now, this issue. So لا ينكح الزاني المجلود إلا مثله. So a fornicator who's been, now this is a fornicator who has not been married. And how do you know that the person fornicated before marriage?
4 male witnesses.
No. Look at the hadith. You're going too far. How do you know that this hadith is speaking about a person who has not been married?
Because it's the jald.
Yeah, because he said a majlood. That means that the person got whipped. If he's married, there won't be no issue because that person won't be on the face of the earth right now. You know, so because he has been stoned. But here, because the person has been whipped, that means that the fornication was committed before the person was married. So he said, لا ينكح الزاني المجلود إلا مثله. So a fornicator that has been whipped does not marry anybody, is not allowed to marry anybody except another fornicator who has been whipped. Okay? So that's the hadith, right? Now, the issue is about what? Now this is specifying what? A fornicator who's received the punishment for fornication. That means that they got caught, and he got the punishment, and then that's that. How's the person made tawbah? Allahu A'lam. But he got the punishment for it. Alright. So now, the hadith is Hasan. Okay? So we deal with that. So now, the ikhtilaf amongst the ulama in regards to this hadith is, according to what they said, اختلف العلماء على هذا الحديث على سبيل الإخبار أم على سبيل النهي. So what does that mean?
Is it like the...
Translate it first.
Well, that's what I'm trying to see if he can do that.
Is it on Sabil al-Akhbar, like on the path of like al-Akhbar, I don't know.
Okay, he can't do it.
No, Sabil al-Nahi is the way of like forbidden.
No. So,
Nahi.
yeah, I mean, yeah, but it's not the way. Like Sabil, it doesn't mean way in this sense, right? So he's saying, like, basically the ulama differ about whether this was, like, basically the Prophet ﷺ said what he said as just informing the people that this is the case. Like, this is what happens. A person who is whipped because of fornication, he doesn't marry another person except for this type of person. He's informing, all right? And the other statement is that it's a nahi, which means that he's saying that it's not permissible for a person who's committed fornication and been whipped for fornication to marry anybody except for another person who has committed fornication and been whipped for fornication. So that's what the difference of opinion is. Is he just informing or is he prohibiting? Alright, so he said, اختلف العلماء هل هذا الحديث على سبيل الإخبار أم على سبيل النهي والصحيح أنه على سبيل النهي وتحريم. So the correct opinion is that it is on the what? That it's based, it's a prohibition, and it shows that this is haram. That he cannot, like a regular Muslim, a person who's protected his or her chastity, and and saved themselves from marriage. It is not permissible for them to marry a person who's what? Committed fornication. Now, that's in general. Unless one condition, what?
They repent.
That person has made sincere, tawbatun, what? Nasuha, So if that person has made sincere tawbah, like sincere repentance, like fulfilling all the conditions of repentance, then yes, and that person can marry a person who's, a regular, just a chaste Muslim, I guess you could say, right? So that's the issue, right? أنه لا يرضى بالنكاح لا يرضى بالنكاح الزاني إلى زاني مثله ولا يرضى بالنكاح الزانية إلى زاني مثله. Now we're going to go over this issue because if a fornicator, if a Muslim marries a woman who's fornicated, is the marriage valid or invalid?
Invalid.
All right, it's invalid, but is this consensus amongst the ulama? No, it's not. So the Jumhur are actually on the opinion that it's valid, that he can marry, because they believe that the ayah Surah An-Nur is mansukh. Is this the strongest opinion? No. But we're going to get to the ayah Surah An-Nur, inshallah. So, but the point is yes, the strongest opinion is what? If you marry a girl who's committed fornication, whether she be a Muslimah or a non-Muslimah, all right, and she's committed fornication, she has not made tawbah from that fornication. Now, you being married to her, and you know that she committed fornication, guess what? Well, no, but that's what we're going to get to the ayah, inshallah. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah An-Nur, Azani, what? لا ينكحه إلا زانية أو مشركة وزانية what? لا ينكحها إلا زان أو مشرك وحرم ذلك على what? على المؤمنين. Now the understanding of the ayah, according to Ibn Abbas, according to Ibn Abbas, the understanding of nikah here is what? So here, according to Ibn, and I'll bring you the statement of Ibn Abbas, even though I'm jumping. It goes back to the same ayah, because I keep forgetting, man. You gotta remind me, inshallah. So a fornicator does not marry, but see, the translation is going to mess it up, because once I give you the statement of Ibn Abbas, the translation you're going to see is wrong. All right, because the issue about Ibn Abbas is what is the word nikah here? Because yankihu, it can mean two things. The original meaning of nikah in the Arabic language means what?
The action.
The actual sexual action. That's nikah. So the Prophet ﷺ, when he asked the man who came and he was trying to say that he fornicated, and he wanted him to say, hey, did you hal nakahtaha? And he used the word nakaha. He didn't say, did you marry her? He said he wanted to be sarih. And he wanted to say, did you do this? And he used the word nakaha. He said, hal nakahtaha. And he said, na'am. Take him and stone him. All right. So yeah, but we're going to get to the meaning in a minute, inshallah. So let's just go off the basic translation that you're going to see in the Noble Quran. All right. So a fornicator cannot marry except a fornicator, or a mushrika. Wazania, the fornicating woman, cannot marry except a fornicating man or a mushrik. And like I said, this is not correct. All right, this is not the correct translation, but I'm just giving you how they would translate it. Mushrik. وَحَرِّمَ ذَلِكَ عَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ, and this is prohibited for the believers. All right, this is prohibited for the believers. That means what? That the believers are not allowed to marry what?
A zani.
A fornicating, the believing woman is not allowed to marry a fornicating man, and the believing man is not allowed to marry a fornicating woman. So the statement of Abdullah ibn Abbas, radiallahu anhuma,
I still quite a good tablet. You go with the tablet?
You want to see my new toy?
Not on camera.
Oh, he's still.
It's still, we can still see your pockets.
Huh?
We can still see on the phone.
No, I did a video about it. I got a thumbnail holding one of these knives, man. You haven't seen the video?
I've seen the.
I can't get it out. It's way back in the back. I'll show you later. You know the Indonesian knife? But I got a fold one. So now I can, because you know the fixed blade knives, you can't carry them around without, you have to like keep it out in public, in the open. But if it's a fold blade, you can conceal it. Gotta learn the laws, man. And you can't carry pepper spray. All right. Well, we can't carry pepper spray. You can carry pepper spray. Yeah. All right. So he said, "Call us Sufyan al-Thawri." Sufyan al-Thawri. And he's back again, right? Imam from the Hadith. عن حبيب ابن أبي عمرو عن سعيد بن جبير عن ابن عباس رضي الله عنهما الزاني لا ينكحها إلا زانية أو مشركة قال إلى زانية أنا فليس هذا بالنكاح إنما هو الجماع لا يزني بها إلا زان أو مشرك. So what did Ibn Abbas say? He said that the nikah here is talking about fornication. And he said, La yazni biha. So nobody fornicates with her except another fornicator. Because the marriage is invalid. So if you marry her and you know that she's fornicated and she hasn't made tawbah, and you know this and you go into the marriage, then you are a fornicator too, because the marriage is invalid, so you're fornicating. So there you go. So that's why he said, La yankihuha illa zanin aw mushrik. Because if she's a Muslimah, is she allowed to marry a mushrik?
Of course not.
No, she's Muslim. Even if she's committed zina, she's committed fornication, she's still a Muslim. That does not take her out of Iman. That takes like the Iman and Kamah, like, you know, the completion of her Iman is gone. But she still has the asl of Iman. She still falls under the guise of what? وَحُرِّمَ ذَلِكَ عَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Yeah, she still falls under the mu'mineen, that is haram. So she's not allowed to marry a mushrikah. She can't, a Muslim woman is not allowed to marry anybody but a Muslim. So what is the meaning here with the mushrik? So the understanding about why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned the mushrik is because they don't see it as being, they don't see fornication as being what? They don't see it as being haram. It's a part of their religion. You know, so they used to fornicate openly and they didn't see any problem with that. So that's why he's saying that the meaning and the understanding of the ayat is that a man, a female who's a zaniya, who's a fornicating woman, and she does not have sexual relations except for with another fornicator like herself. Alright? Or a mushrik who will fornicate with her because he doesn't see it as being impermissible. And obviously at this point she doesn't care. This is not talking about marriage. So this does not show the permissibility of a fornicating woman marrying what? A fornicating man. Alright, because the marriage is not what? It's not valid. So Ibn Kathir, when he talked about this ayah, he said what? هذا خبر من الله. And I'm talking about the ayah, الزاني لا ينكح إلا زانية أو مشركة. Alright, this ayah, right, in Surah An-Nur. He said, هذا خبر من الله تعالى بأن الزانية لا يقع إلى زانية أو مشركة. So he said that this is an informative statement from Allah. So he's doing this to inform. So this is not like, we remember with the hadith, we said what? Is this information or is this a prohibition? And we said that the correct understanding of the hadith is what? Prohibition. It's a prohibition. But now here, Ibn Kathir is saying about this ayat, is it information or is it a prohibition? He said, no, this is information. Alright, he says he's informing you that a fornicator, la yata'u. What does that mean, la yata'u? He doesn't have sex with, like sexual relations with, he doesn't have sexual relationship with anybody except for another fornicating woman. A fornicating woman, al-mushrika, or a polytheist woman, because again, they don't see it as being haram. أي لا يطاوعه على مراده من الزنا. They won't obey him and anything about what he wants from fornication, illa zaniya. So nobody's gonna agree with him to do this act with him except for another fornicator or a mushrik. And he said, illa zaniyatun asiyatun al mushrika. So a disobedient fornicator or a mushrika, or a female polytheist. لا ترى حرمة ذلك, and this is لا ترى حرمة ذلك, it goes back to the mushrika, that they don't see any prohibition of committing zina. ذلك وكذلك الزانية لا ينكحها إلى زان أي عاص بزناه أو مشرك لا يعتقد تحريمه. So he said that and also the female who commits fornication, she will not have these relations except for with another fornicating man who's disobedient, by doing this type of fornication, or with a mushrik who does not believe that committing fornication is haram. So the marriage bila shak. When you look at that and you look at the understanding of the ayat, what? Well, like I said, this is not a consensus, it's still ikhtilaf. And the jamhur is that the aqd is what? That the marriage contract between the two. This is the jamhur of the ulama. They believe that it's what? It's still valid. It's still valid. Is this correct? Now that you've gotten it, and you see this is not. It's not the understanding of Ibn Abbas. Even Ibn Kathir, he made that very, very clear here. It's not valid. All right. So they say that it's makruh. And then the other issues come up, but we're not going to deal with those today. Like, what happens now if they did get married and they were under a valid marriage contract, and one of them committed fornication after the marriage? Does the marriage contract become valid? That's a whole other issue. But now going into the marriage, if you know that she committed fornication, she's not made tawbah from it, you don't know of her ever making tawbah for it, and you marry her anyways, then what are you?
Join her in fornication.
Yeah, unless you have some type of ta'wil for that, then you're falling into fornication, because you're falling into the only hurima dhalik ala al-mu'minin. It's not permissible for the believers to marry a woman who's fallen into this type of behavior, or the woman to marry a man. If she knows that this man has been committing fornication and doing this stuff, and she doesn't know of any tawbah from him, it's not permissible for her to marry him. So hurima dhalik ala al-mu'minin. And also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said what? Al-khabithatu what? Lil-khabithin wal-khabithun lil-khabithat. And here specifically, al-khabith is what? What does khabith mean in the Arabic language?
Someone who's disgusting.
Yeah, it's like a despicable person. He said the despicable women for the despicable men, and the despicable men for the despicable women, and the immoral, despicable people. They marry each other. They're for each other, not married. But specifically, if you go back to the tafsir, it's talking about az-zawani. So it's talking about the fornicators, the people who fornicate. They fornicate with other fornicators. But the people who are tayyib, and those are only for the what?
Married.
Yeah. So only the people that are tayyib, like the good people, the mu'min, the believers, they marry each other. But the fornicators, they go and they're for each other. They fornicate with each other, but there's no valid marriage between them.
So that's a refutation for those who say it's makruh.
All right. And also in the hadith, it does not specify. He said about the azani al-majlud. All right. So here he says, لا ينكح azani al-majlud إلا مثله وهذا ليس على إطلاقه وإنما هو في حق من لم يتوب. So this is for the person who what? Hasn't made tawbah. If the person's made tawbah, again we spoke about that at the beginning, what? The person's made tawbah, then what? He can marry whoever he wants, from the believing women. If he's made tawbah and he's made sincere tawbah and the people see it, then he can marry whatever woman he wants. Now this is Subul Salam, right? And we have Sanani. Because he has a beautiful speech, and I didn't want to take it from here. I said I'm just going to read it directly from this book. So he said, الحديث دليل على أنه يحرم على المرأة أن تزوج بمن ظهر زناه. So he said that the hadith shows that it's impermissible for a woman to be married to a man who's known to have committed what? Fornication, yes. وَلَعَلَّ وَصْفُ مَجْلُوبٍ بِنَاءً عَلَى الْأَغْلَبِ. And he said, it's probable that the Prophet ﷺ, he used the term al-majlud because it's the common, this is the common punishment. This is what happens to them when they get caught, that they become majlud. So because of them getting caught and being whooped, he said that this is why he mentioned this, because it's a common punishment for them. He said, على الأغلب في حق من ظهر منه زنا وكذلك الرجل يحرم عليه يتزوج بالزانية البزانية التي ظهر زناها. And he said, also the man is impermissible for him to marry a woman who has openly is known for her to commit fornication. Now, if he were to marry a woman who has committed fornication, but it's not zahir, it's not known, and then he finds out, so he gets married legally to her, then he finds out later, is the marriage correct? What's the issue with him?
He is annulled.
But him, he's not held responsible for this because he did not know. This is for the person going into the marriage knowing that this is the state of the woman, or the woman going into the marriage knowing that this is the state of the man. So like for example, and I told you, like when we talked about this yesterday, is that the majority of the people now, they want to go because it's hard to find a good Muslim woman. So what does he do? He goes and marries a Christian or something like that.
Oh, heck.
No, I'm saying it's not because there's no good Muslim women. It's just there's not a lot. Some places there's just not a lot of Muslim women. Period for marriage. So he goes and marries a Christian woman. Show me a Christian woman here that has not committed. All right, that has not committed fornication, and then show me a Christian woman who's fornicated. And we're just talking about Christian B'ism, by name. We're not talking about church going Becky, she's like got her Bible in her car in her glove box. We're not talking about her, Bible thumper, whatever. We're not talking about her, but even she fornicates like crazy, you know what I'm saying? But, well, just go to the church and see those girls in the church every Sunday and show me one of them that hasn't fornicated. So then show me one of them that's made sincere repentance from it. So
the pastor is slide you one of his side pieces. I got one for
Man, who's this man?
He got 3 or 4 side.
Well, the pastor, he's taking all the virginity of all the little boys, because that's what they do. Yeah, so the girls are safe.
He's taking them both. He's taking them both.
There's a question.
At least in the black churches.
So if a woman got pregnant by her man and became pregnant and they got married at the masjid, is the marriage invalid?
Or she got pregnant from fornication.
What it means by her man, like her boyfriend, and then her and her boyfriend, they had zina, and then the girl, she got pregnant, and then they got married together after they did zina. Is the marriage?
You haven't made toba. You just married the person. That's not toba. That's not repentance.
With the baby.
Marry her until she has the baby anyway.
Yeah, it's invalid in the marriages. But I mean, they both have to make repentance. Not just her, not just him.
Right.
They both do. And they both need to separate. And this is what I'm saying. This is what people don't want to listen. And we had this issue in Jacksonville, and I tried to tell the same thing to the brothers. Like, look, you live with the girl, right? You're still committing fornication, and now you want to get married because you want it to be Islamic. Akhi, that's not Islamic. You have to separate. Separate. That's number one. You cannot be in the same house together. You can't be talking to her anymore. It's done. You understand? If she's got a father, go send her back to her father. Let her stay at her parents' house for a little bit. You need to discuss things. Discuss it with the father because he's going to be the wali for the girl. And you sit in the masjid and you make tawbah and you tell her if she's a Christian, because most of these issues come up because the dude's with a Christian girl or a non-Muslim girl, right? Then she goes and makes whatever her tawbah for her religion is, right? But it has to be sincere. It can't be like, okay, that, they can't, I can't take it anymore, we got to be together, and they go meet up in a hotel. Then obviously it wasn't sincere, was it? So they have to separate. That type of marriage is not valid, and in fact, you're still committing fornication. But now Shaitan has got you to think that what? Got you thinking that you're married, but you're not. Because that marriage is not valid. It's not valid. I mean, number one, it's not permissible to get married, like you said, until what? Man, it's Friday after. Don't worry about the time.
Just saying.
Look,
I'm not in a rush. I'm just saying.
The folks in the back put the comment on the YouTube yesterday and said, we will stay here until 12 o'clock until we finish this issue. And we left. And they were very angry because we didn't go over this issue yesterday. So they are prepared to stay here until 12 o'clock. Are they even here right now?
نعم
Okay.
كيف
So,
سيعرف؟
all right.
Of course.
All right. Probably they're probably watching the live stream. Good.
Yeah.
All right. So, what was the rest of the question? Well, you about to ask something.
No, that was.
You said about the kid. What?
So is the kid okay? This is not from me now. So, a man and a woman, or a male and a female, they fornicate, and then they get married. So they fornicate, and then they get a baby from that. After they get a baby,
They get a baby as a prize.
no,
They have a baby. They have a baby.
yeah, after the woman,
It's like, congratulations, you're the 450th fornicator of the day. Have a baby. You know, it's like, get a baby.
so after the woman, she gives birth, and then the man or the guy wants to marry the woman. Would that baby be considered his?
No.
Okay.
He has nothing to do with that child. The child is not his. And we're going to go over that anyway in the hadith about the chapter on Hibana, you know, which is the custody. So we're going to deal with that issue. But I mean, I spoke about that hadith before. And what the Prophet ﷺ said, "Al-walad al-firash, wal-ahir al-hajr." And we talked about this in one lesson. So the child is for the firash, and whatever bed he's born on, that means the mother. It means the child belongs to the mother. Because that's the bed that he's born on. He's born on the bed of that mother, because she's the one who's pregnant with him. Well, al-ahir, for the one who fornicated with her, al-hajr, it means he got nothing to do with that child.
Adultery.
Huh?
Adultery. Fornication is zina before marriage. Adultery is in marriage.
Oh,
it's in
not-
English, so the people don't.
It's not clear if it was before or after marriage. I'm not mentioning the hadith. So I'm just using fornication as our moment.
So
Huh?
واحد قال إذا يتوبون بينفع
What?
واحد قال إذا يفعلون توبة بينفع
I already said that. I already spoke about that. All right. Where did I stop it now? He said, وهذا الحديث موافق قوله تعالى وحرم ذلك على المؤمنين. So he said that this hadith, it goes together with the ayat that we talked about from Surah An-Nur. Why do they keep turning off the...
She's turning the heat on and laying on the heater. And I feel the heat on the back there.
Yeah, because it starts getting hot here. Like, yeah, I'm like sweating right
It's
now.
not Obama or one of the boys, it's the girl. She's turning the heat on and laying on the heater because she's cold.
Oh, the 4-year-old.
And I just went back there, it's on 90. I went back there.
Well, 90.
Yeah, I went back there.
What we done? This is like Turkish bath now? What is this,
I
Afi?
on top of the vent over there, and I went back there twice. And turned it back
It's a
on.
little girl.
Yeah.
Not the little girl.
Oh, one of the older ones. Oh, yeah, man. I'm like up here sweating, like, what's going on here, man? Like, all the air went out of the room. And we can't turn the fan on because the fan messes up the sound and the audio. All right. So after that, he said, إِلَّا أَنَّهُ حَمَلَ الْحَدِيث وَالْآيَةِ.
70? I just turned it off.
No, turn it back on 75.
Because the heat doesn't.
Yeah, cool it down, because
The heat out now.
yeah. 'Cause this,
There's a
every night the same thing. Like, we come in here and it's cold, we leave out
I went back
here.
there twice because I feel the heat coming out. And I go back there, it's on 90. I went back and turned it down. She's laying over there.
Yeah, man, we're about to take this class outside, I think, because it's like, the weather's nice outside. It's like 60 degrees outside.
It's
Right?
85 in here now.
Yeah, I know. I've seen it. I see it every morning when I come in here. For Fajr,
That's the girl.
for Fajr, imagine, it's 50 degrees outside. When I come in here for Fajr, it's 82, 83 degrees in this room. Every day. Every morning.
في رياح
We have to come in here and turn on the air conditioner and Fajr.
It's not Obama or the boy. It's
Oh,
the
yeah.
girl.
So now we know the culprit.
there's a question.
Let me finish this first. إلا أنه حمل الحديث الآية الأكثر من العلماء على أن معنى لا ينكح لا يرغب ثاني المشدود إلا في مثله. So he said that a lot of the people, they said that they take the hadith as the meaning that the raghba, like the fornicator who's been whooped and been punished, doesn't have any desire to marry anybody except for somebody except like them. He said, this is what he says. Now, he's not saying that this is correct. He's just saying that some of the ulama have said this. He said, وَزَانِيَةُ لَا تَرَغَبُ فِي نِكَاحِ غَيْرِ الْآخِرِ. He said that the fornicating woman, that she doesn't have any desire except for to marry a person, to marry anybody that's not a fornicator. وَهَكَذَا تَعَوَّلُهُمَا. And this is the way that they've interpreted it. وَهَذَا يَدُلُ عَلَيْهِ الْحَدِيثَ وَالْآيَةُ النَّهْيُ عَنْ ذَلِكَ لا الإخبار. And he said no. And he goes back to the same statement. This hadith is about what? A prohibition. And it's not an information. Alright, and Majarad al-Raghba, it's not about the desire. So he's saying that statement is what? It's wrong. That it goes back to the prohibition that it's not permissible for a believing man or a believing woman to marry a fornicator. خلاص. وأنه يحرم نكاح الزاني العفيفة والعفيف الزانية. So anybody that's protected their chastity, it's not permissible for them to marry a fornicator. ولا أصرح من قوله وحرم ذلك على المؤمنين. Alright, and this has been made impermissible for the believers. أي كامل الإيمان الذي هم ليسوا بالزنا. He said the ones that have completed the iman and they're not from the fornicators. إلا فإن الزاني لا يخرج عن مسمى الإيمان عند الأكثر. Alright, so the zani does not leave out of the statement like of iman because they still fall into the category of what? Being from the mu'mineen. But mu'min what? Naqas al-iman. Naqas al-iman. Like the iman is deficient because of their sins and what they've committed, but they're still considered mu'min. So the end game of it all is what? It's not permissible for any believing man, not even for the two fornicators. Like, because this is the thing amongst the kuffar, right? Like this scenario that you talked about, where the girl gets pregnant, and then, oh, well, now y'all got to get married. Now y'all got to get married. No, it's invalid. It's invalid. It's invalid.
There's two questions. If I'm reading right, what's the difference between nikah and jima'?
No, nikah, it has the meaning of it, jima'. And jima' is sexual relations. And nikah has that meaning. That's the asl, that's the original meaning of the word in the Arabic language. But because of marriage not being complete except for with that action, then nikah came to be known as marriage. But the actual marriage is zawaj. Zawaj.
Okay, so I have a question. Let's just say we're talking about people who just fornicated. They weren't married. Let's just say the person was married and they committed sin. But they escaped the hoodoo because they live in the United States. So they got out of that marriage, they went somewhere, they made tawbah for what they felt was tawbah. Could they ever marry a Muslim woman?
Yeah, but I mean, obviously, there's still going to be, like if he's known in the community he's done that, then obviously people still going to be on like, that brother, he did that before, but no, he made tawbah, but still everybody's going to be like, watch out for it, But I mean, is it permissible if somebody wanted to marry, if he's made, if the people know that he's made sincere repentance, then yeah, he can marry. He can marry again, inshallah.
Question for this one, if I'm reading right. What is the meaning of the hadith that whoever dies without a bay'ah dies a death of jahiliyyah?
Does this person live in the West or?
No idea.
I mean, if you live in the West, you don't need to worry about that hadith right now, because the bay'ah anyways nowadays is a bay'ah. Whenever like a new king or somebody gets crowned, the bay'ah is on. It's not for every single person to take the bay'ah, So the bay'ah is taken from the ulama and those people, the main people of the country. They take the bay'ah with the ruler, But it's not, the bay'ah is not for everybody. It's not like everybody goes up and pledges allegiance to that person. Because this is general anyways. Once all the head people, the top people, the ulama and everybody have given their pledge of allegiance, everybody else just falls under that pledge. So you see, like for example, the Sahaba, they pledge allegiance to the rulers. They would go and give their pledge because they're ulama. They're also awliya al-umur. But I'm assuming that's what they're talking about. But as far as the bay'ah outside of that, then what? Giving bay'ah to a person who's not a ruler, or what?
It's not valid.
It's not valid. This is a bid'ah. You're sinful for doing something like that. There's no bay'ah.
Ignore the last question.
The only bay'ah, like I said, the bay'ah is for the wali al-amr only. That's it. Nobody else. And it's not permissible to give bay'ah to no other person. And if another person comes and asks bay'ah, why there's a wali al-amr, what do you do?
Say it again.
Kill him.
If another person, like you have the wali al-amr, and people have given bay'ah to him, and another person says, no, you gotta give me bay'ah.
Death penalty.
Yeah, you kill the second person.
The ruler kills.
What is that word?
So the people.
What is bayat?
It's like allegiance.
Oh, okay. And they break it.
Mm.
And they break it. The bayat.
No, because a lot of people in the West, they don't know, they don't really understand the concept because they didn't go and study these issues. And bay'ah, the Pledge of Allegiance, is given to the leader of a Muslim country. It's not given to, like, you know, like when I was in Atlanta, they give the bay'ah to the Imam of the Masjid. No, you don't do that stuff.
Okay, there is
In
another
other words, you
question.
make an oath to follow somebody.
Like
You
allegiance,
pledge your life,
I'm with
pledge
you.
your obedience,
life and death.
the rulings and your Islam, everything.
No, actually,
You pledge it
this is
to
connected
that
to the
one
previous
person.
question. I was wondering what
That's
it was.
wrong.
Alright, okay.
And you give the
Who's
person
pulling
a
the
command over you.
Oh, okay.
So when they tell you
To do
move to
something,
Florida or move here, you gave them an oath, you have to obey.
you have to obey them. Whatever they tell you to do, you have
They
to
tell
do
you
it.
divorce you, no, not divorce your wife. They do
No, not like that. But I mean, it's like in the times of warfare and things like that, you're given the allegiance. So if he tells everybody get up and go out and fight, you got to go and fight. And if you don't go and fight, then you're sinful. So, but that's only for the person of authority of the Muslim countries, not for any Joe Tom, anybody in the masjid just to go off and give them bay'ah.
Not for
No.
an imam, not for an emir, not for a board, that's not valid.
Someone said, so how long will they have to?
Firecrackers. I don't see it.
I don't know. So how
Because I know
long?
it's Friday night, because we had that other night to have the fireworks at the game, I think it was last week, right? And we're like, whoa.
The Grizzly game. Okay.
Yeah.
So how long will they have to separate to get married?
It's not how long, they have to go and make sincere repentance.
They can't make Tova until they stop doing the sin that they're doing. That's the first condition of Tova. So they have to stop doing
And not
haram
just like,
first.
oh, they gotta stop talking.
Yeah.
And he's gonna talk to her father. If her father's still alive, and I'm assuming that obviously that they're different religions, these two people, right? Are they Muslim or what? Because I don't understand the situation.
What I read to you is how it is. What I read to you.
I'm saying, I'm just like, I'm going off the assumption that the person is fornicating with somebody from a different religion. If that's the case, then he's gotta go, if it's a he or she, or I don't know, I'm assuming it's a he, inshallah, that he needs to go and find out who her wali is from that religion, from her family, and go speak to him and explain the situation. And we had to do this in Jacksonville but this wasn't because of fornication, but this was just because brother, he got married, and then one brother was acting as the wali for the girl, and he was Muslim and she's Christian. So the marriage is not, again, I mean, it's still, a lot of the ulama will still say that the marriage is still valid, but it's what they did was haram. And it's sinful, but the marriage is still valid. But to fix the situation, the brother, he went and spoke to her father, and he sat down and he got the marriage fixed. Khalas. You know, he doesn't know, so he's not a sinful person for that because he's following the advice of what he thought people knew, told him. So, I mean, for him, there's no sin on him. You know, he did the best of what he could do. So the marriage is still considered valid, but he just make it, you know, correct. He went and spoke to the father. That's what you do.
What if she's Muslim, but she's got no Muslim family members? Her father's not Muslim.
Then you gotta set up the wali from the person, whoever's in that community, who's a person who's considered like a person of authority in that community.
Like a priest?
No, we're talking about Muslims.
Oh,
she's a Muslim,
Okay. Oh,
but she doesn't have any family members.
oh, we're talking about a Muslim woman.
But now, if you're fornicating with a Muslim girl, now this is a problem. If you're fornicating with her, and then you know, and then now you want to get married to her, and the father already knows about the situation, right? Let's just say, for example. So now you separate. Now you make Toba that's sincere, but then you contact the father and say, I want to marry your daughter. He's like, man, get out my face.
Do you want to die?
No, what I'm saying, let's just say he said, don't call. You're not marrying my daughter. Not after all this. So what does he do?
Sleep back around with her again.
No, I mean, that's what he's going to do, but I'm saying, what does he do legit?
Legally, he's supposed to leave her alone.
Huh?
Move on.
He moves on. Yeah, you're going to have to find another girl. You just got to chalk that one up as a loss. That's your fault. You made that decision. You followed your desires and you didn't want to make everything legit. That's on you. That's you. That child is not your child. That's on you. You did that. You move on with your life. Make dua for and if you want to be very, very responsible and show your maturity, call up the father and say, look, I apologize for everything that I've done. And say, look, I made repentance. I wanted to marry your daughter, and I respect that you don't want me to marry your daughter. I'm out. If you want me to stay, I'll go away. You don't know what happens. If you handle that situation like that, give it maybe a week or two, maybe you get a phone call. And what does the father say? Come, let's have lunch. Let's talk about this issue. Come over tomorrow and let's talk about it. You never know what's going to happen. If you show that type of maturity and you show that you're really, really sincere, Allah changed the heart of the father. But you have to do things legit. You got to, if the father says no, you're not marrying my daughter. Stay away from my daughter. Man, you're a fool. And then you go off and run around with the daughter again. Now you're back in the haram. Now you probably got this man making dua against you every single night, so your life is going to be horrible. And I mean, let's just say that he doesn't whatever. He's just I wash my hands with my daughter. You can have her, But in this regards, right, in this haram way, and he just sits there and makes dua against you. You think that your life is going to be good with her? Dude, man, no, man. If you want to make things legit, show maturity, take responsibility, take accountability, and fix the situation. If he's dead set on you get away from my daughter and don't you ever call back, then apologize to him and just say, look, I apologize, I know I'm wrong, and I'll obey your wishes. And leave her alone and go on with your life. Let her make Tawbah, you make Tawbah, and just, that's it. Call it a wrap.
Is there a difference of opinion on whether you can claim the child if you were the only one involved with the girl?
How do you know? Because there's always
there was some scholars.
You can't claim it because it's not your child. It's from fornication. Because there's always a possibility.
Whose child is it?
It's hers.
Oh.
It's her child. You don't pay, you don't support, nothing. There's no child support, there's no nothing. Because if she took that responsibility to give herself up like that, then that child is her responsibility. So she has a share of the sin because she also fornicated too. But nowadays you see, you got most of the men in America paying child support for children that were born out of fornication. And Islamically that wouldn't happen. And that's what I'm saying. And that makes more sense because imagine, just look at the beauty of this deen. The woman, she has a baby out of fornication. The child's hers. The man has nothing to do with the child. Al-Hajr, like the Prophet ﷺ. Al-Hajr, it means he's blocked from everything from that child, which means the lineage, blocked. Nafaqah, which means spending on a child, blocked. If he wants to spend on the child, that's his business. But he doesn't have to. It's not his duty. So imagine now.
Can you still get paradise for that?
Huh?
Spending on the child?
Yeah, inshallah. I mean, if he sees that the mother's in need and he's got money and he's doing that to help her out as charity, but he's making Tawbah and he's getting away from that, yeah, inshallah, he'll get reward for it. But the point is imagine how hesitant the girls would be to commit fornication if she knew that if she got pregnant, she has to take care of that child or her family has to take care of that child. You see how hesitant? If it's not Uncle Sam giving her a paycheck every month for every child that she's got out of fornication, and then he's giving her child support, so she's getting extra food stamps, child support, and all this stuff getting mailed to her, getting all not mailed anymore, but now she gets it all on a card now, right? But all this money each month, just because of that. Now imagine if we flip that now and followed Islam correctly, like if they actually enacted like Islam here, these women will be so hesitant to sleep with anybody now because they know that that's going to be their responsibility. There's not going to be no food stamps because you're a fornicator. There's not going to be no nafaqah. There's not going to be no support because it's not his child and he doesn't have to support. That's you took that on yourself and you knew that this was the responsibility. And you knew that this was going to happen. Imagine.
And even the damage that's done to the child, if you just take that into consideration as a parent, you wouldn't want your child to have that stigma on the rest of their life. Being a child, you got your mother's name, if you're your father, everybody probably know that your daddy, you look just like, kind of know this one, but he can't claim you, you have no rights to him, you can't inherit from him. If he dies, his legitimate children get the inheritance, and you sit back not getting nothing.
Nothing, even if he's rich.
And it,
He could be like Michael Jordan or something, you know, billions and billions of dollars, and you get nothing.
who
'Cause
would want to inflict that on the child after knowing the damage that you would do to the child?
I mean, just look at it right now. You know what's so amazing about living in this country? That the only children that are being born out of a legit marriage in this country are Muslim children. Because even these kuffar, they don't even have legit marriages. Because they're already fornicating before they get married. They ain't no, you know, they have that, they used to have that saying back in the 90s, like, before I marry you, I want to test drive at least first. You know, this goes way back. In the 70s, 80s, 90s, you know, so they had to do that, you know, way, way, way back. So they were already fornicating before the marriage was even, you know, and then a lot of them, like, if you go back, you see like where a lot of the women, they were getting pregnant, and then the fathers were making the man marry the woman, right? So, and even if that wasn't the case, they were already fornicating. So their marriages are all invalid, all of them. The only people right now that are having babies in this, and probably in the world, I think, if you really look at it, right now, maybe, I mean, I think in other cultures, they still have like some type of, you know, it's just really in America, because like fornication here is just like, it's like drinking water, you know? Yeah, it's just so normal here, so normalized here, it's like not even like, there's no shame in it no more. In fact, you have to feel ashamed, because I remember my father told me this. He's talking about my stepbrother. And you know, I'm not gonna say anything in case he watches this, he'll be like, why are you telling this story? But so my stepbrother, he said, man, I told that boy, this is what he told me. He said, I told that boy, if you don't do something with a girl by the time you're 18, then you're gay. But he used the F word, you know what I'm saying? You know, he didn't say you're gay, you know, I can't use that word on YouTube, but you know, he said it straight up, like you're a, you know, you know, and this is what he said about my stepbrother. You're a flower child. You're a maggot, let's just say that. You're a maggot. Yeah. So, imagine, that's my father's attitude. Like, you know, you're a man, and you're almost 18, and you haven't done nothing with a girl. So just imagine, he's shaming him for still not having those relations, not committing fornication.
Some parents here get their son a stripper when they turn 18, take him to a stripper party.
Yeah. I don't know.
There's a question. About the separation of the two, how long Muslim is the general question.
It's not about the length of time. It's about you making sincere repentance. Not sincere repentance, oh, like I miss her and I want to be with her. No, it's got to be sincere repentance. Like you really, really, and what it has to fulfill all the conditions of Tawbah. And the conditions of Tawbah, they're in Riyadh al-Salihin. For anybody, you can go to Kitab al-Tawbah, you know, the book of repentance in Riyadh al-Salihin, and he gave the conditions right there at the beginning of the book. He gave all the conditions.
So you said, so the baby has the mother's last name.
Mary had a little lamb. What are you saying?
No, I said so.
Mary had a last name.
No, so the baby over the fornicator. And,
I love messing with your son, man.
but over
Sorry.
the fornicator and not being married or everything like that.
Again, another.
Over the fornicator not being married, the baby has the mother's last name.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
There's no lineage, no nothing.
That just takes me.
I mean, he's like, you know, like if his mother's name is Rebecca, then he's like Ahmed ibn Rebecca. That's it.
Just on the flip note, there's two legislations that's happened here where this situation is changing. One, they only give women now 60 months of collecting that before they cut them completely off with these illegitimate children. Number two is now they're not even allowing those fathers to put their name on the birth certificate now.
Which they shouldn't.
Until they get a DNA and prove that that is the father. Then
Even that DNA is not 100%
I'm just
accurate.
saying, there's awakening happening. You know, this is, you know,
That's what I'm saying. They're like after all.
Yeah.
See, this is what I'm saying. This is the issue with the kuffar, right?
Yeah.
They have to go through all of this garbage for decades and decades and decades until they realize, wait a second, these dudes are right.
Yeah.
But we already know this.
Yeah.
I mean, this is already our deen, so we don't have to go through this. I mean, all we got to do is learn the Quran and the Sunnah and practice it correctly, and we don't have to go through all this chaos. But they have to. They have to go through all these trials and tribulations, and then they end up passing laws in the end that are Islamic in nature, even though that's not their intention, because they know that's the only cure.
That's another one. Okay, so when the child...
Man, I think you're all right. You're cool.
Oh, you left the chair.
I'm just making sure, because if I say, I don't want people to be like, man, if there's one more question, I'm going to throw a chair out the window,
So inshallah, these last two will be the last questions.
Yeah,
Don't
you
say
got it.
that, you don't know if they're gonna keep coming.
Nah, it's past 10 o'clock now. Man.
They said they'll stay till 12, so.
Nah.
Oh, yeah, you did say
We
it.
finished it. We finished it.
You remember?
We finished this shit. It's done. That's it. We wrapped up. You're not allowed to marry a fornicating woman.
So, the last two. Okay, so when the child reaches puberty, don't the father has rights to be around the child then?
Doesn't the father?
Don't.
No, doesn't.
Doesn't. It says don't, but.
That's incorrect grammatically.
But there's another one.
What's the question? Oh no, finish the question. I'm just correcting it.
No, that was the question.
Well, I didn't understand. I was too busy focusing on the grammar.
Yes, the father does not have rights over the kid, even when the kid reaches puberty. Yes, correct, he does not.
And if it's, is that what the question was?
Basically.
No, what rights would he have anyway? We talking about the kid born out of wedlock.
No, you can't do.
He has nothing to do with that child. And if it's a girl, he's not even allowed to be alone with her. He can't be the wali for her, even if she's a Muslim and he's a Muslim, it doesn't matter. He can't have no part. If he's like, for example, if he's the father, it's the boy, he can play a role in the child's life. And then the child can recognize, more like Mujahid was talking about the situation where, like, this woman, she only fornicated with this man, and it's known. He can still have a role in the child's life, but as far as the child's lineage, you cannot say, this is my father. He cannot do that. He cannot say, like, for example, I am Ahmed ibn Saleh. No, he has to take the lineage back to his mother. If the marriage is not, if he was not married, if it's out of fornication, then no, he's not allowed to take the lineage, because that's an intisab ila ghayra abi. It's not his father. So no, he can't do that.
The second question was...
And if it's a girl, like I said, then no, and he's not even allowed to be alone with her once you've reached the age of puberty.
So, the last question...
That's a protection for the girl. We don't know if that's the legit father or not. Especially nowadays, when these girls fornicate, and she'll say, no, I've never been with no other man. Then you go and you start digging, and what do you find out? Man, the only person she hasn't been with is the Amazon delivery guy. So...
There was one night we were fighting and we weren't technically together, and it was only this that one time.
Well, we talked about this before, right? What do we say? We said that the women only count the men that she enjoyed. All those other guys that she did out of anger or revenge, she doesn't count them. Those don't count. So we don't know, man, you can't trust. I'm sorry, man. And 90% of the women in this regard, especially in the West, you cannot trust them. You cannot trust them. I might trust that, like, okay, if I'm like in another Muslim country, even there, man, women are deceitful. I mean, like we talked about before, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked about the Kayda Shaitan. And what did he say? Indicated Shaitan kana da'ifa. He said it's weak. But when he talked about the woman, he said indicated kunna alim. And he said that your deception is great. It's very, very great. But he didn't mention that about Shaitan. He said indicated Shaitan kana da'ifa. They're weak. But he mentioned because the way that he comes to people, is through desires. It's through ifrat or tafreet, but the women, boy, they'll mess you up, akhi. And so Allah musta'an.
The last question was like...
And that's why the Prophet ﷺ said, مَا تَرَبْتُ بَعْدِي أَنِّي فِتْنَةٌ أَضَرُّ عَلَى رِجَالٍ مِنَ النِّسَاءِ. He said, I have not left a tribulation after me, and that is more harmful to the men than the women. But that's because the men don't act right. Because the women, they'll do right if the men what?
Act right.
If the men act right. You see the women not doing right, it's because the men ain't acting right. They're not acting right. They're not taking the responsibility. They're not taking accountability. The men, it's a long time.
Some of these men love those camel eyelashes, that's why they do it.
Camel eyelash. You talking about the bats?
Oh,
The
the tortured girl.
I'm gonna lie. I want to see one person who likes that.
Nasty.
I don't like one person. Show me. Have you ever met a person that likes that?
No. Men accept that because women have set that standard and they believe that that makes them more beautiful, and men have to accept it in order to deal with that woman, if they're gonna deal with that thing.
Thick eyelashes on a woman is beautiful, but they over exaggerate. That's the thing. The natural thick eyelashes.
Natural eyelashes on a woman.
Oh, you talking about natural ones?
Natural ones. So they took that, something that men naturally that we think is beautiful on them, and they over exaggerated it.
Wrong.
And that's what we got right.
That's not where the eyelashes came from.
I'm not saying where they came from.
I don't know, but I don't know, but those fake eyelashes out here are a danger to the insect population. Every time she's blinking, she's killing some insects that, that are vital to the ecosystem, So maybe to keep the ecosystem intact, like these women gotta get rid of those eyelashes, man.
The natural thick ones is something that's
Yeah, it's a natural.
beautiful. So.
Yeah, of course, natural. Not that, what we see on the streets every single day,
It's gonna cause eyelid failure after a while. The eyelids,
Yeah.
it's gonna stop going up and down.
Yeah, boy, they gotta, like, her eyelids have to have a six-pack just to, like, blink, Every time she blinks, man, her eyelids are getting, like, a workout, man. It's going over. Any more questions?
This is the last one. Remember, it's like, is it halal to use the moon and the star, like the moon crescent and the star as a symbol of Islam?
That has nothing to do with Islam. That's Turkish.
So it's not
It's
halal.
from the Ottomans. They made that up.
So it's not halal. I'll just look for the question.
No, those are symbols that are used in witchcraft, okay? They use those symbols. You can go to any witchcraft store and you see that they use the crescent moon, the stars, and the 6-point star. All of these things are symbols that they use in witchcraft. What do you want to put that on your body for anyway? That has nothing to do with Islam.
That was a question. Okay.
That's it. You got another
You
one?
gonna blow? What did you say?
Is there another? This is the last question.
You blow.
This is the last question.
Okay.
It's 10:30, and I got no ice cream at home. Now, I ain't going travel. Oh, you didn't get ice cream today either?
I want ice cream.
See,
You get ice cream. You want ice cream?
Jed is like, this was his.
I'm actually late for dinner. I'm probably in trouble.
Well, this Baskin Robbins closed now.
Yeah, it closed at 10.
Hell, it closed at 10.
So, but dinner is at home, so I left.
But dinner without ice cream.
It's gonna be a hard night.
It's a very hard night. Try not to get the shakes, try to control it, Have everybody lock the doors so you don't go out geeking in the streets and all that,
When goes up until 2.
I don't want to see you here at Fudger doing all this. Like, come on, I gotta get some ice cream. Doing all this scratching and rubbing and stuff.
It's always
Really?
7-Eleven. It's always 7-Eleven.
Yeah, if you want to take that chance.
So we in America, and the father has been in the child of age in the courts, they have right to the child.
Well, again.
So the grammar is so horrible. Okay, so we in America, and the father has been in the child life of age in the courts, they have right to the child. How can we stop that?
Move. Get out of the bilad al-kufar. As long as you live here, you're going to have to deal with that. If you don't like it, then, that's the whole thing. We shouldn't be here in the first place.
Let me say that.
What do you think, that these kuffar are going to let us do the things the way we want to do it? No. Go to a Muslim country, marry a Muslim woman in a Muslim country, and you deal with things in a Muslim country. And you're not going to have to deal with this garbage. But if you want to sit here and get married here, you want to have babies here, you're going to, what? That's what's going to happen.
There's a message from Majad saying, don't let him eat too much ice cream.
Oh, you come out.
No. The days of who?
They're telling you not to let your dad eat too much.
No, because I've been saying Mujahid, but maybe they think there's two Mujahids.
They mean him who could stop you from eating too much.
Yeah,
That's
That's what they.
He said he ain't
It's a joke.
I got an Indonesian knife on my side. I got my new toy here, and I got the skrimmer sticks at home. And like, you're gonna get one of these upside your head if you get between me and that ice cream. But we have stopped Ben and Jerry's, right?
Only on Friday.
No, I haven't been eating Ben and Jerry's.
No.
I've been eating that. What was that place called? What's that?
Sunny Select.
Sunny Hill, Sunny Select.
Oh, yeah, the cheap
The local ice cream, because it's less sugar, less taste, less everything, you know.
And you
Yeah.
have little ice chunks in it. Like, you get like one spoonful of.
I still get the cookie dough. Oh, wait.
But it'll be water that frozen.
Hold on, what's that song?
Friday.
Yeah, we're about to finish the whole class without police sirens.
But there is a protection for these things.
There is
Your
a.
protection is your contracts. Your marriage contracts here is your protection.
Oh, because you just jumped right back to marriage. I'm like, there's a protection through a contract of eating ice cream?
Now, this question about
There's
keeping
a-
the kuffar out of your custody and all that, the protection is your contract.
Yeah, but still, even that, I think, well, like, if she has the money, let's say that you married a rich girl, but you're the playboy, right? So she's got the money, and once she leaves, you got nothing. She gets a good lawyer, she's gonna get out all. Yeah, you're done. You're done regardless. Okay? And then the courts favor the female already. So that when you go into the court system here, it doesn't matter who you are, what you are. If you don't have that, Masonic shaking hands with the judge type of thing going on, you're done when you get into that court system. You're done here. So that's that. If you're not some big prominent dude that's known in the fraternity there in the lodge, then you can forget it. I think you're going into there, and that woman's got the upper hand, and you already got everything stacked against you. That's that. And I've watched it with my father, dealing with my mother, and everything. It's like you go into those courtrooms, you're done. You're done.
She's gonna take half of your money at the same time.
All of it.
Yeah, it depends on what she can do. She might take it all. She might
Take it all. Not
Yeah.
all of it.
Mujahid should stop Muhammad James from eating too much ice cream.
You should stop making these suggestions before we block you from making suggestions. Because you also standing between me and my ice cream.
That's jihad.
See, I can't do anything with the commenters. I can't take out the Indonesian knife on y'all. But we can just put the block on you. Is that it? It's Hanukkah over here.
An hour and 42 minutes.
Yeah. Did y'all turn the air conditioner on or what?
You said 75.
Did you want me to make that?